Episode 206, How to Preserve Memories.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And it's a whole new week. Welcome to the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. Now that we get that out of the way, how to preserve memories. I started this episode because I had over the weekend a few discussions with friends. And one of them was about my fire department work that I did voluntarily for many, many moons. And that's what this episode is remotely based upon. So first of all, though, housekeeping. Views my own. Think it's known. Blah, blah, blah. Sharing is caring. That is the most important thing, actually. And number 3, this week's episodes are going to be a bit on the shorter side, simply because I'm in major remodeling mode. So there's not going to be that much time to actually get the episodes on the road and research them. However, what I would like to ask of you in addition to the sharing is caring thing that, maybe you are not necessarily 100% affected by the episode's topic, but somebody that is, please share the episode with them, just to spread the word out and so on and so forth. So remodeling done, views done, sharing is caring done. Let's get started. So, during my work as a firefighter, of course, you see tragic things happen. And, I always thought that the most tragic thing that could happen was actually, bodily harm that is done to someone. And I've seen my fair share of pretty fucked up people, in car wrecks and so on and so forth. And that's something which you don't necessarily want to see. However, there were people that were, okay, but their possessions were destroyed. And while initially you think, well, more likely than not, they will have insurance for all of their belongings, there comes a time in life when you start sharing, or not sharing, but you start putting things together that are, I don't know whether irreparable is the correct term, but they are memories which you can never, ever get back. And I'm not talking about, memorable experiences. I'm talking about things that you, brought from vacations, or, business trips, or interesting parts of the world that you've visited that have more of an ideal value than a monetary one. Now, looking, right and left of my desk, I've got tons of that stuff. I've visited so many countries and received so many gifts, and bought insanely important memories. Just immediately I will associate the feeling, the vibe, the smells, the temperature, the sun, the rain, whatever associations I have with that article. And it's insanely interesting once you realize that moment. It's just insanely interesting that while, you can touch or look at that object and immediately beam yourself back to where you bought it, how you bought it, what it felt like, and so on and so forth. That once this item is gone, your anchor is missing to basically reestablish all of those feelings. And more likely than not, you won't be able to get these things back. So that's when I started to really photograph everything, right? And I'm on multiple cloud services, obviously, but I've got copies of the photographs of these objects so that at least should the worst case happen, of a fire or burglary or, whatever, and the item gets damaged, stolen, or destroyed, that at least I will have the memory of that item, which will, allow me to remember where I got it under the, the circumstances under which I got it, and so on and so forth. And I went on to really, I'm a hoarder, basically. I just hoard memories. And that goes all the way back to my school times and even before that. And so I had this backpack, this rucksack that I used for school purposes. And, I had it stored not optimally, to be honest. But I had a very difficult time throwing it away, right? It was moldy. It stank. All of the drawings and, the signatures and all of the memories that were associated to it had faded to a degree. And it was just time to get rid of the fucking thing. And so what I essentially did was I took a photograph of it, and then I was fine with just tossing it, right? Because I knew that I had the memory in a photograph that I could immediately go back to the school times, because that makes it easier for me to reactivate memories. And, that was just really an interesting bridge for me to go away from, I don't know, being afraid of losing memories through these anchors. Let's call them that. I don't know a better word. So in that sense, if you want that, liberating feeling and to preserve your memories in a way where you know pretty well that they won't be destroyed physically or otherwise, try this technique. It's quite easy to do, and it's an insanely liberating feeling because, while you still can hold on to those objects, they're, not going to be a physical burden for you. For instance, for the case that you need to downsize, living space or whatever, these things will always be with you, at least, in a picture, even though it may be digital, but, you can do paper prints of it. It's quite easy. So in that sense, I hope I was able to help you in regards to memory preservation. And, hope that I will see you guys again tomorrow, where we're going to talk about a place that brings you peace. See you, folks.